sure you're in check, you're good, all right? You're not gonna be starving and living on the streets when you get back, or not be able to make it back from that country. So stay within your budget, okay? So Sasha's in the background for today. Hopefully she doesn't get up and leave like last time. If she does, fine, we don't need her. I'm just kidding, I need you, I love you. So don't mind the cat. But anyway, welcome back to my channel. I am Catherine, and as you notice, there's a couch behind me instead of a classroom, so it's a travel video today, specifically how to budget for travel. Now, I wish I could give you a spreadsheet of how to budget, and maybe I will one day, and if I ever do, check the description and comments for a freebie on how to budget your own travel destinations, but pretty much what I do is all up here. Wherever I'm going, I have a full budget. I take into account how long I'm gonna be there, how much I need every month, how much things cost there, like food and places to stay, and I make sure I have enough to last me that full time period. So for example, when I went to the Philippines, I was there for about 3-4 months. I was there for 4 months, but at the time I had budgeted for 3 months, so but it's okay because, oh, do you have a question? Is your paw raised? But it was okay because I always make sure I have extra that will cushion just in case things go south or I just need a little extra money to get me home or something like that. But just let's take the Philippines for example. So I knew that I would need at least $10 and $20 a day for wherever I was staying. Now I always think of it in max pricing, like what's the max that I'm probably gonna get charged. And of course when I'm there, I look for the deals. I don't know if you've watched any of my travel vlogs before. If you know me, I don't plan that well when I go somewhere. I look at the prices, I make sure I have enough money to get me where I'm going, and you know, I can cover all the things that I want to do. But as far as places to stay, Bo and I pretty much figure it out on the spot, and we go on Airbnb. We used Airbnb a lot in Asia, or we go on Hostel World. We use Hostel World a lot in Mexico. Just depends, but I always prepare worst case scenario. So I'm like, okay, let's say $15 a night average. 15 times 30 is $450. So I would need at least $450 a month just for living expenses, and I would round that up to 500. I'm sorry. A weird noise, Sasha. I made sure I had at least $500 a month for wherever we were staying, and then food on top of that. So typically in the Philippines, food is about $2 to $4. Just kind of depends where you are. It's relatively cheap. So I pretty much budgeted at least $10 to $15 a day just for food. So again, worst case scenario, $15 a day, 15 times 30 is $450. We're gonna round that up to 500 just for fun. From the bat, or right off the start, in the Philippines, I need $1,000 a month just for living and food. And then when I'm in the Philippines, I made sure my breakfast was around $2 or $3. Same with lunch, same with dinner. Sometimes I would sleep in and I would only eat lunch and dinner. Wow, I saved more money because I slept through breakfast. Kind of have a limit for myself, $10 a day, and I make sure I don't go over that, or I don't go over it that much. And you know, of course you're gonna splurge when the time comes to splurge. Y'all might go to a fancy restaurant one night, treat yourself, okay? Don't do that every night, because you're only gonna be staying in the Philippines for like 2 days then, and you're gonna go back home. Same when I'm looking at places to stay, when I'm looking at Airbnb or Hostel World, I try and find the cheapest price, but also, you know, still safe areas, still a place that I want to stay, and of course, sometimes you're gonna spend a little bit extra. For example, in Bacolod, the place we stayed at was like $18 a night in Mexico. I thought that was a little expensive, but it was like super great reviews, the best place to stay, and I'm really happy that I spent a little extra and stayed there because it was a really fun place to stay. So just kind of budget for things like that. And again, I kind of take it day by day. I don't have like a rough itinerary, but I probably should. I probably should the next time I go. And of course, when you're in another country, you're gonna need money to get around, right? You need money for the taxi, you need money for the Uber, you need money for the ferry or the train, or you know, whatever your mode of transportation is, you need a little bit more money for that. Again, do your research, see how much it is typically, and budget for that. Now, I don't necessarily have a set budget in my head for that like I do for the hotel, hostel expense or the food, but I do probably set aside like, I don't know, $100 a month. it kind of depends where you are and how much travel you're gonna do. But that's not really an expense that stands out to me too much. It's kind of just a part of the experience. But I would set aside like, you know, $50 to $100 a month, probably a big budget for it. Again, it just depends how much things are where you are and how much you need to use it. Can you walk places? That's also something to think about when you're booking your hostel or hotel or whatever it is. Because if I can just walk places, I will pay the extra $2 a night to stay there instead of figuring out how to get a taxi or something the next day. And then of course, other experiences like going to cenotes or diving with whale sharks, scuba diving. That stuff I kind of do a slight research on. Again, you do a little research before you go, but I don't have anything as far as like itinerary wise, like day by day, nothing is planned. But as far as like things I want to do, things I want to cross off my bucket list, I definitely have a nice little list that I go through. So I check the prices on that and make sure I have enough money for that. Like I know whale sharks was like gonna be maybe $20, so set aside $20. Cenotes aren't very expensive in Mexico. Depending on where they are, they can be just $1 or $2 or like $10. So kind of depends. And of course, scuba diving is different everywhere, but $50 to $60, sometimes $100. Just depends on how many dives you do, all that fun stuff. So look at prices, make sure your budget can take it, make sure I can handle it. But that is kind of how I budget for my travel so far. Is it a great system? Maybe. I also have a maximum limit I can spend. So for example, in the Philippines, like I was planning on coming home earlier, but I ended up staying an extra month and I had the budget to stay an extra month, but I had a limit that I could not go past in my bank account. I was like, okay, Catherine, you have to buy a plane ticket and go home before your bank account hits this X amount because you gotta go work, okay? Just something that, you know, a limit that you cannot go past, just to make sure you're in check, you're good, all right? You're not gonna be starving and living on the streets when you get back or not be able to make it back from that country. So stay within your budget, okay? As far as getting souvenirs and bringing them back, I really don't get souvenirs. For me, I have a ton of magnets on my fridge of different places that I've gone in the US or otherwise, and that's pretty much all I buy. It started out as a joke because the first time I went somewhere, I asked my mom, I was like, yeah, do you want me to bring you anything back? She's like, no. I was like, not even a magnet? She's like, please don't, Catherine. And I was like, okay, well, I got a magnet every time just to annoy her. And now I really like my magnet wall because A, they're very small. They're very easy to bring back into the States. So there's my souvenir right there. It doesn't take much room in my backpack. They're very inexpensive and I can always see them when I go to the fridge, which is often. And B, it keeps me from spending money on other things, other ridiculous things. Like, for example, when we went to Chichen Itza in Mexico, which if you haven't seen that, go watch that vlog. But when we went there, like there were rows and rows and rows and rows of just souvenirs and toys you can buy. They all said that they were handmade. I have my doubts about that. But there was some stupid crap that I kind of wanted to buy. Like there was this like jaguar head. I was like, oh my God, that's sick. I don't know where I'd put that, but I like it. I think I would just stick it in my brother's room or something, or give it to my brother. But it keeps me from buying that stuff because I'm like, Catherine, you don't need it. What purpose does it have? A magnet can hold things for you. You see a magnet every day. It doesn't take up much room. It's wonderful. So yeah, I pretty much just get magnets for myself. Occasionally I might get something for a close friend, but when you're like out in another country and you find something that's like specific to that country that's not like generic or, you know, tacky. People who have not been to that country don't always understand it and they're like, thanks. I hate it. Another example is one of my best friends always asked me to bring him back a keychain wherever I go. So when we were in Mexico, I got him a Jaguar keychain because I didn't think he'd want something that just said Mexico on it. Like, what do you want? Like, do you want something that says Mexico? You've never been to Mexico. I'm very confused. So I got on this Jaguar head and I brought it back and I was like, Chichen Itza, like the Mayan people, like really worship jaguars. Like they love jaguars. It has a lot of meaning. They're very powerful. And I told him all the things and the whole time he was like, thanks. I was like, you don't have to put it on your keychain. He's like, no, I will. Thank you. It was a cool jaguar head. Like, I would have kept it, but anyway, I don't know if it's on his keychain anymore, but I'm like, I don't know why. What did you want me to get you? So as a rule, I just don't get anyone anything anymore. Sorry. Those are my budgeting tips for traveling. I don't know if they helped, but that's kind of how I budget. It's very on the go. Very just in my head, just Do I have enough money for this? Check my bank account. Okay, we're good, let's go. Did we hit that threshold? No, we're okay, we can keep going. So I hope it helps you. I might make a freebie about it one day. So if there is a freebie, like I said, check the description, check the comment section because it will be there too. And thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Sasha? Oh, are you comfortable? $20 a night. Okay. You're beautiful. You're gonna be in a video. I know, she's so tired. I know. Like, look at her. Sorry to bother you. Oh. I try to talk over it, but it's relentless. Sasha says, thank God you're done. She's so cute.